What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PixelPlay podcast. My name is Adam, aka CS Radical. Joined as always, Chris, aka Jen and Chris. Kaylan not here this week. Something, baby. I don't know.
Oh, come on. It must be tough. I would be sad. If I could make the podcast, I'd be like, oh, man. But also, it sounds like he's, busy and,
Well, of all the podcasts, he had to miss this one. He's been talking for a while, like, man, we need to get Adam riled up again. And then he's like, you know what? I'm not going to show up this week. And I'm sitting there being like, well, you're missing it because I got my pitchforks ready.
I've got my popcorn. I'm just ready to watch. I didn't have actual popcorn. I have a thing of water. But I'm excited to watch Mad Adam. Just Angry Adam come back.
You had one popcorn earlier when we watched Scary Movie back on Friday last week. So I think you've had your popcorn fix for a while, Mister. I don't ever eat really bad things anymore.
Oh yeah, I miss bad food.
But yeah, we got a few things to talk about. I don't know. I might have a thought or two about the layoffs that have occurred. Well, I don't know how much is official still, because it sounds like there's still some meetings about studios maybe going independent, or I don't know. It's not fully done, but like we have a pretty vague idea of what's going on here. So we're going to talk about that. I might have like 2 minutes worth of stuff to talk about there. That's
2
it.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
No,
y'all that have heard me before on the show, you're like, nah, when he says 2, I think he's missing at least a 0 or 2.
Yeah, I think 2 zeros, actually, to be more specific.
Yeah, this is going to be a 5-hour podcast.
It's going to be a long one.
Chris just leaves part the way through. He's like, dude, I got to go to bed. It's 2 a.m. And you're like, and another thing.
You just got the finger going.
But I'm going to make y'all wait for that. Because what would the fun in that be? But believe me, I'm a bit pissed off. But we'll get to that. I want to talk about things that are actually fun, but Chris, I'll give you the shot because I always seem to start it off recently. So I'll give you the chance. What have you been up to as of recent?
So I'm also sad Kaylan's not here because the game I've been playing just on Game Pass, my first thought was like, oh my God, I feel like this is something Kaylan, like maybe just on his Nintendo Switch or something, would like sink into because I've been playing something called Mini Shootin' Adventures. It seems like a simple premise, but it lands it so well. It is a like Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, like exploring game with puzzles where you got to get dungeons and keys and the whole thing. But you're also just a little like shoot 'em up spaceship, like from a bullet hell. So all of the enemies
this looks like bullet hell Link to the Past.
Yeah, and that's literally what it is. Like, every enemy also they don't all necessarily shoot, but they're all also ships and either move at you or shoot at you. And then as you play, like, the number of bullets you get on screen gets ridiculous. Like, just like a traditional bullet hell would be, the bosses are these massive things with, patterns of bullets going everywhere, and you got to make sure you don't get hit and all that kind of stuff. But it's amazing because it's still got a world map, which you can only get into certain dungeons and into certain areas once you've unlocked certain powers, which only happens after you beat certain dungeons or bosses or find certain secrets on the map. You upgrade your ship through a couple different ways. You can find golden scarabs, which you use to upgrade something. As you kill enemies, they drop just these red crystals, which are kind of like your basic forms of upgrades, where you can upgrade your rate of fire, the range of fire, the damage output, all that kind of stuff. When you beat big enemies, they drop these really big red crystals, which you can exchange with another ship back at your like home base, and it can upgrade your gun level. So gun level 1, gun level 2, which is basically how many like bullets you fire in a single shot. So what starts as 1, right now I'm at like 5. Where I'm firing, like every time I go to fire, 5 bullets come out in kind of like a spread fashion. So you can really, really upgrade your character, and it's very fun to do, but it's really just the exploration of the game. The music is so perfect for it. Did you ever play Tunic? The little fox that was
a little bit here and there, but I never like went far into it.
So it had like this kind of like synthwave kind of like ambiance music that played that was like really, really cool. This game has very similar tracks, not as powerful as Tunic, but it still went with like a synthwave, like mythical kind of way. It's kind of hard to describe, but basically it sounds like A Link to the Past if A Link to the Past was made by an 80s synthwave kind of person who really liked lo-fi and wanted to kind of chill out. It's perfect for the setting with the fact that you're a spaceship, but also in this very, again, Link to the Past kind of world, right? The gameplay is solid. The game is also not too long. I only started this today. I was playing it on my lunch. I played it a bit after work and all that. And I've beaten, I want to say 2 bosses out of 4. There's like 4 bosses and then a final boss and then I think a secret final boss and then you're done. And in a single day with like maybe 5 hours of gameplay, I've beaten 2 bosses, but I'm also in the 3rd dungeon. So technically I've already made my way through all that, which is really, really cool. So it's not too long. It's cute, but also like not too cute. Like it does have a bit of that challenging, cool look to it. Like some of the enemies look like, whoa, damn, that is a massive ship that I can only hit from the back, and I'm stuck now in this room in this dungeon. How do I take it out? All that kind of cool stuff. It is a lot of fun. I highly suggest that anybody who is into either bullet hell or like the old school Legend of Zeldas to give it a try, because it hits both so well that I'm not a huge bullet hell guy. Like I've played them, but it's not like a genre I like run to. This makes me actually want to go play more bullet hells because of how it connected so well to like the Legend of Zelda part of me, that I genuinely think that this game is perfect for what it is. Like for me, if I was to give this a rating out of 10, like I'd give it a perfect 10, but in the concept of this is a $20 game at full price. Probably on sale, especially on Steam. I have to imagine it goes like almost 50% off. The game is like a little over a year old. It just only hit Game Pass recently, which is why I'm playing it now. This is definitely something I would have, if I'd known about it, I would have bought it. I've added this to my Steam wish list and will eventually pick this up in, a couple years when, I just feel like going back to it and I don't have Game Pass anymore. I'll 100% go through this again. This is like a fantastic game to play on the TV. I have to imagine it would be great as a portable game as well, like handheld. I don't know. I just think that this game is so much fun and such a great time sink that I want everybody to play it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I totally see it too. I mean, especially after playing Saurus, I'm sure Kaylan would love to see a bunch more of colored circles on his screen again.
Yeah. And the nice thing is there's difficulty options too. So if anybody's like, no, bullet hells are too hard, you can put it to easy, and even when you die, there is no consequences, minus you just go back to your home base on the map. So you can go back to the dungeon you're at. The world map is big without being too big, and you move very quick because you're a ship. So like even when you die, it's just a matter of having to get back where you are. And honestly, if you're in a dungeon, the new checkpoint is the front of that dungeon. So you just end up back at the front of that dungeon, and it's not too hard when you set it to easy, which is what I ended up doing. I didn't feel like spending a lot of time trying to learn too many patterns. I just wanted to play on easy. So
yeah. No, that makes sense. Is that the only thing you had?
Yeah, that's the only thing I've been playing that I was going to talk about.
All right, perfect. Well, Kaylan also is missing me getting to talk about Mafia: The Old Country because I finished that over the last week. Yeah, it was exactly what I expected it to be. It was short enough that it didn't take too much of my time away. I will say this. I actually thought that this was turning out to be a really, really good game, and then the end kind of comes, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but I feel like they definitely could have let it breathe a little bit longer before you got to the end, because I find like who the end enemy is going to be, like from the very start. Like like if you played a Mafia game, you kind of know where stuff's going to go. So when you get to that point, you're thinking, all right, like they're going to build the reason for this fight happening, right? And then it just suddenly goes, bam, here it is. And you're like, okay. I was hoping there would at least be a mission or two in between of that, like something to kind of make it go a little bit more into that direction. But it was still very, very fun. I didn't spend any time at all with the collectibles. Like, I'm sure, because at least from what I saw, like the map tells you where they all are. Like it doesn't hide that from you, so it's not like it's not like you're gonna sit there and do. But it's just, if you're not going by the place, because there's no reason to really go around the open world, like you're not doing much. And most of the time, it gives you the option to skip the drive anyway. So I was like, I might as well do that because it's not like anything's happening. Yeah. So I ended up just doing that for most of it. So I basically just brushed through the story almost as quickly as you possibly can. And it was very good for the first, I'd say 80% of it. And then it's just that last, like that final act really that didn't do it the way that I wanted to. And it was very unsatisfying. That's not uncommon for Mafia games. Like for those that have played, like Mafia 2 is the one I always go to. Like you end that game with your best friend essentially being driven away to potentially his death. And like you're sitting there being like, well, you survived, but your best friend that you fucking adore by the end of this game, he's fucked.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of been Mafia, is like, it's the Mafia. There's no happy ending.
Yeah.
I think this one played that hand a little too hard. Like it played, Red Dead Redemption is a great example of like, yeah, things aren't going to go well. I'm not spoiling whether or not the main character dies, but like you understand what I'm saying when Red Dead Redemption also has like, it's a very unsatisfying end. But at least at the end, you kind of resolve any anger that you have. I don't feel like Mafia necessarily completes that part. I think by the time that you get to the end of it, you're like, nah, I'm not as satisfied as I would have liked to be for how everything happened here at the end. I was hoping for a bit more. But the time that we spend with Enzo for the majority of this game is very good. A lot of the characters are really good. It's cool seeing Leo Galante in his fucking youngest form. So you're actually getting like the man, the myth, the legend, in his starting roots. Seeing his, I don't know if the Don Galante in this game, I can't remember if it's his uncle or if it's his father or grandfather. I can't remember. But either way, but like it's a beautiful game, as Kaylan mentioned too. Like the open world is fantastic. Like you're not spending a lot of time in it. It's not vibrant. Like you're not going to sit here and be like, oh man, like I could just kind of let this go in the background for. No, it's not that. But like in the time that you do spend going back and forth between it is very nice. It's a very interesting atmosphere that it carries of this early 1900s Italy, just before, obviously World War I's coming into play. So it's a very mostly chill like setting. So it's just basically farmland essentially, which is a nice setting that you don't get too often. And honestly, the combat was not as bad as I was worried it might be, given the weapons that you're going to have there. They actually did pretty well. I mean, I still ended up kind of leaning into the shotguns by the end of it, where I'm just like, okay, sawed off, and usually I did a precision rifle just because it was a one-shot kill generally from distance. So it was like, fine, we'll use that. The one complaint with the combat I have, and a lot of it just has to do with kind of the way that the story is telling its boss fights. Every major fight has to end in a knife fight. There's no shootouts. There's no like, cutscene where you're like throwing a guy off a cliff or something at the end. Everything ends with you stabbing a dude. And it works the first couple times, but after a while you go, that's not as satisfying anymore, man. Like I want to blow this motherfucker's face off. He deserves, he doesn't deserve just a knife in the shoulder. That's not good enough.
Yeah, I can see that.
So like one of the final, well, I shouldn't say final boss fight because there is like a little bit after it, but like the final like big boss fight that you can really have in this game is a knife fight, and there is an active volcano going on in the background. And I'm sitting there being like, please do something with this. Please do something with this. And no, it's just the background. And I'm like, have some fun, man. You had to end with a boring ass knife fight of parry, // parry, // dodge, parry, // yeah. No, not even a shoot, not even a crazy shootout. Not like, some like car chase. No, it's just, all right, pull out a knife. Let's fucking do the same thing that we've done 1,000 times now. And you end it by stabbing him in the gut. Congrats. You win. All right. That was the 9th time that we did this, but okay, yeah, I'm sure it means something. But yeah, no, like, it's a solid 8. Like, I know I've talked a lot of trash about it, but that's just how much those things stood out for making it perfect. But, like, I think this game did very, very well for what it was, and I'm very happy that we got to see more of this series, because at one point I thought it might be gone.
Yeah.
And now that we're seeing this, I'm like, okay, I'm now curious when the DLC comes out. I'll take a look at that as well. But the main thing is like, I can't wait for them to go back to that, like, Prohibition era Mafia again and see what they do with something like that. I'd love to get back to the roots of what Mafia used to be and kind of see where that goes again.
Yeah. I can't lie. I like looking at the footage here because I haven't played this yet. The graphics are so beautiful. Holy crap. Like the outside and everything, the buildings. Wow. That looks amazing.
And it helps that there's not a lot to build, because like the biggest city is a small town, like very small, like town on a hill. It's like there's never a massive area that we're, because obviously it's the 1900s. There's not skyscrapers aplenty here, because it's not Empire Bay either. So like it's very easy for them to put some work into the greenery and stuff, because there's not much else to render. So it actually works to its advantage here.
Yeah, it's just like I'm seeing some of these stone buildings and railings and the shingles and stuff, even just in some of these the video, and I'm like, wow, that looks insane. Like when you actually have that lower scope and have fewer items you have to focus on, you can really focus on those items that you're going to put.
Yeah, it means that the characters at the end of the day, they don't pop at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like they become not important. Like that's the one, if there was one complaint I had graphically, is that like none of the characters are memorable except for maybe Isabella, the love interest, and that's just because she's the only person wearing like a good amount of color to her clothing. And by a good amount, I mean green when everybody else is wearing black and gray all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, that's the time period, but like you'd like a little more out of it. Like the most that you get with most of these guys is like, oh, that guy's got a more interesting mustache than the other guy. Oh, look at that guy's haircut. Like there wasn't, like you don't really remember that much. I don't think there's even a character that really like runs away with it. I do think all the performances are pretty good, but I don't think like there's one standout. Like Enzo is serviceable. Luca, the guy that you're seeing him fight right now, is like the guy who's teaching you everything. Like he's pretty good. Don Torrisi, your boss, like he was very good. I did like him a lot. I thought that he did very well. Like, I think everybody played their part decently. I just don't think that any of them stood out enough to, like, really make it, like, a big deal. But for a game that I had no expectations about even releasing, let alone going into playing the game, like, I got more than what I could have expected out of it. I obviously have my complaints, but, like, it's a perfectly serviceable game. And especially now that the price has gone way down, like, this is more than worth the money that you'd be spending on it on any Steam sale that comes up.
Yeah. This
at launch would not have justified this at all. Not a chance. But like,
I can see
33% off and under. Yeah, I think you can make a strong case for it.
Yeah, the Steam summer sale starts in a week and a half, and this is one of my top games that I want to.
Yeah, this is sub 50%. I think, like, especially if this ever gets under 20, it's an easy gimme.
Yeah, 100%.
But Chris, it's now time for what you've been waiting a whole week for. For those that don't know, in the Discord, I've been talking mad shit about, Chris, there's a game that I've been playing that you're not going to believe that I'm into and how deep I'm into it.
I need to know. Like, this has been driving me kind of crazy. I let it go. I was like, you know what? I'm going to find out. Don't overthink about it, because that's all I would have done. I would have just spent like 4 days being like, no, it's probably this. No, it's probably this. So I've stopped thinking about it. I have zero expectations or idea of where this is even going. So Chris. Yes.
You're a big Civ guy.
I am.
It's not Civ, but it's something in that vein that I was I was curious about it because of the subject material, because the subject material of this game is all about terraforming Mars. Okay. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, this looks kind of interesting. I'll take a crack at this. And this feels like a good bridge for me of like a game that has a sort of that Civ building a nation kind of flair to it, but has a lot of that like Settlers of Catan sort of like board game vibes, where I feel like it's enough of like there's a sim aspect to it, there's a building aspect to it, but I think there's still a part of that like this feels like this is just an elaborate board game.
Yeah.
So let me introduce you to Terraformers.
Oh, Terraformers. Okay. Now I know
So-
where this is going.
For those that have never heard of this or have played this before, Terraformers is essentially, the closest I can think of it is it's kind of like a Civ resource intensive kind of game, just about, like I said, terraforming Mars and trying to get it so that it's livable. Like, I think this game starts in like the 2060 or 2070 range, and each turn represents a year as you go deeper and deeper into building your first colony and then starting to expand and starting to set up mines for different materials. And then eventually it starts to work its way into, okay, how do we start building oceans? How do we start getting bacteria to form? How do we start getting an atmosphere building so we can finally keep, the temperatures down? How do we get all this going so that we can finally even get to a point where we can start putting plant life and wildlife even into the game? And I ended up doing a full run. I did have to play around with it a little bit, and before I could finally do a proper full run, like there were times where I was like, okay, I'm still not getting it. And now that I've finally gotten a full game out of it, and now that because you keep unlocking stuff as you go, like after I finished the game, I boosted 3 ranks, which gave me a bunch of new buildings, a couple new leaders you can recruit, and they all have their special quirks and stuff. Like, for example, like one of the ones you start out with, like she can build this building that any populate or anything that has like population in it, they get an increase to their morale, so that way they're happier going in, because a big portion of how this game continues is you have to keep morale up, because if there's no support, then eventually the project just dies and you lose. The idea is to get like similar to how you get like that technology win in Civ. Once you get that, and if you're watching the video version, there's a bar on the top left that's underneath where it says the red planet awaits. As soon as you max out that bar, you win. Game ends. You can continue on if you want to and just keep building and seeing how far you can go with it. But like you'll want to restart because now you've added some ranks, you get some more buildings, and you can now try different more challenging stuff to try to get things going along. But the idea is you got to be able to balance making progress, getting the planet further and further along, but also making sure that you're not pissing off the people that you're building this all for to begin with, because if there's no support, well then you're done. Like there's no chance of this project going any further. And what I really liked about it is, like I said, it felt very much like I was just playing a really elaborate board game where I slowly would build my first colony and be like, okay, here's some buildings. I'm going to use this to give me a chance to increase my resources, and eventually next one comes up. And now I started dealing with things like, okay, now I got to start thinking about, okay, I got trade routes. I got 3 trades I can do every turn. What thing do I need the most? What am I willing to sacrifice for it? And every turn, it became longer and longer and longer as I started going, okay, I have the ability to explore 3 times, because you can also make satellites that give you a chance to, for free, instead of it costing resources to go explore another like tile. Now you can use these satellites to explore anywhere at no cost. So by the end of the game, when I finished, I had like 10 of these satellites, so I could just go, okay, boom, 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 just unlock different parts of the map. Because there's also reasons to do these things too. Like you can't open up a new colony unless you've taken every single adjacent tile to them. So if there's any pathway you haven't unlocked, you can't build that next colony yet. So there is a reason to explore, but there's also a reason to research. There's that line where you start spending turns going, okay, I really want to build this colony here because it has, I can mine water here, I can mine silicates here, and I can mine titanium here. So like I got resources that I really could use a boost on, and I really want this colony here. But on the flip side, I am this close to being able to finish this project that's going to unlock the next level of oceans. That's going to suddenly get this going. The people are going to be happy on this. Like, this is going to be a big boost. I really need this to keep the turns going. And you really sit there and go, what is my priority? And then the second I would settle on something, I'd realize, oh shit, but I forgot about that project I've been working on. Fuck. Damn it, I'm close to that too. So by the time that I got towards the end, I was sitting there agonizingly for like 15, 20 minutes going, all right, I can do this. And if I do that, I can set this up, and I can set this up. And I felt like I was planning like 4 turns ahead while I was still trying to figure out what the hell to do with the next turn. And I think that's why I liked it the most, is like it actually just let me sit there and go, all right, how are we going to do this? And just really sitting back and going like, okay, I think I can make this work the way I want it to. And what I appreciate too is I felt like this game wasn't overly complicated. Like at the beginning, I felt overwhelmed because I don't play a lot of these games very often. But after playing a little bit of the tutorial and then starting from scratch, I was like, oh, actually, this isn't that bad. It's just obviously once you get to harder difficulties and there's way more pressure, then it's more of the case of now you really got to sit down and think about it. But like as someone who was just playing to kind of get the vibe check of it, I felt like I was getting everything I could ask for out of it in that I was getting that one more turn before I turned the game off. I was getting the sense of like, I don't feel like it's easy to lose this game. I don't feel like I'm falling behind. Like, and because, you know, we're both big Expanse guys, any game that's about Mars kind of gets my attention these days because I'm sitting there being like, all right, is there going to be anybody from the Bell coming in on the, you know? I ended up actually, because I love my mythology names. I ended up kind of using a lot of the Hades 2 character names as like my basis for the colony names. So
nice.
I started on Melinoe and worked my way out to Odysseus and Hephaestus and like all the different colonies. Like I had one that was all about water mining. So of course that one was Poseidon. So I found like little themes here and there. I think even who was my science one? Was it? I think Hephaestus was where a lot of my science went, because like I started like making my colonies for specific reasons, and sometimes too, depending on the things you build. Like on screen right now, there's this weird one tile that has like this multicolored looking like pit. If you build a laboratory or something that generates science there, it gets a +1 to its science bonus. So sometimes you can plan your colonies around what actually is there, because not every colony is just a blank slate where you can just do whatever. Sometimes it's this one will help you with food and this spot will help you with science. And it starts to make you go, okay, so this is now my farmland. This is now my science area. So some colonies by the end of it were literally just made for one purpose. Just like you are just here to do all of this one thing. And there are little buildings that can help out with stuff too. Like there are power plants you can build. There are some that have like also detractors. Like if you build a certain power plant and put it right next to where the population is, they'll get a little bit pissed off because like obviously they don't want a bunch of carbon generated right in front of their house. So thankfully there's no AI data centers in this game yet. You know, they didn't plan ahead for that. But there's all these little intricacies to it. And I the next time I do a new run of it, it's going to continue on where I'm going to find like, oh, here's a new thing that I didn't consider yet, because now I have a few more buildings that have certain quirks to them too. So it really brings a different perspective of each run, where if I play a full run, the next one is not going to be the same, because obviously it's procedurally generated. So you're not going to get the same setup again, but also the buildings you might come across something that you haven't before, and now it might change your scope of how you start doing your builds here and there. But as someone who is not usually into playing these kind of games, I got so beyond sucked into this game that I was genuinely shocked by it. Like this, if it wasn't for, oh my God, why am I blanking on what the game was called? What was my automatic Jin and Chris Classic game? Oh my God, I got to pull the list up now. I can't believe I'm forgetting. I'm going to feel like a dumbass as soon as I look it up.
Was it
it should be there.
Rhythm,
also, God damn it, I hate how
RPG?
Edge does not like it when you have another browser on in the background, so we just went black for 2 seconds on that. Neon Inferno, there we go.
Oh, yes.
If it wasn't for Neon Inferno, this probably would win my Jin and Chris Classic. I might half think about it, but Neon Inferno was just so goddamn good that it might be hard to top. But, like, I wasn't sitting here thinking that I'd be half thinking about a Civ level kind of, like, simulation, you know, builder game to be something that I like this much, but goddamn, was it fun.
Yeah, I'm shocked that this is what ended up being the game that you were playing. Like, for you to be playing, does this game have like other factions also on the planet, or is it just you?
I don't know if maybe it does in different, like, depending on what missions you pick, but in this one
okay.
It wasn't a thing.
Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of like Civ, just without the other factions that might just randomly
there's no one like attacking you or anything. It's literally just terraforming Mars is the goal.
Yeah. I'm so shocked that this is what you were playing. This is so up my alley. It's insane. As you were talking, I immediately checked if it was on Game Pass. It wasn't. So I went to Steam. I haven't wishlisted this, even though I've seen it before. And not only that, it's only 22 Canadian dollars at full price. That is insane.
Like if this goes on the cheap, like actually, you know what? I'll even take a chance to look at this and see like what its cheapest price has ever been, so we can get an idea. Let's see here. I was looking at Steam charts because my brain is all over the place with what game meant what. So, Terraformers. So not counting key shops, like key shops is on for $1 at this point. But like unfortunately, I wouldn't want to buy from them after their little Nazi slip, but GOG has it on for $9 right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like this is a very affordable game.
Like this is definitely
like
this could easily be a $10 game on the Steam summer sale. So.
Yeah. And like
actually, I wonder what the cheapest price it's been on Steam. Let me see. I don't know if I can sort it by the actual storefronts, but like it's been consistently like hovering around that $10 range on different shops. So it probably will change over time. Like maybe Fanatical or PlaySome or some of those other sites might end up having it on there at some point.
So it looks like at every Steam sale, it's gone 60% off, bringing it down to $9.11 Canadian. And it appears that that's the lowest it's ever gone. But it's consistently doing that every sale.
I mean, for $9, that's a steal if you're into these kind of games. So.
I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure I'm grabbing this on the Steam Summer Sale now next week because...
Watch, it's not going to be on that sale now just because
it's just the one sale it's decided it doesn't want to do. Because this is like up my alley. It's Civilization without the worry of dealing with the other factions. It's
and what I appreciate about it too is that it's not a game that like you can get sucked in if you let it, but it's also an easy game that if you just got like 30 minutes to kill, you can just take a couple of turns and then be like, yeah, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, I'm so happy you found this because now I have found this. This is exactly what I love. God,
Chris's wish list that he didn't know existed. Adam recommending him a fucking like simulation game.
Imagine that. My wish list is like 900 games or something stupid, and you found one that just jumped up to like in the top
a genre
3.
that you didn't even think I paid attention to.
In a genre I didn't think you paid attention to. Yeah, this looks so good. Oh god, this like feeds me. This type of game.
And yeah, like if it fills that void of like as a board game lover, like it like it also sets perfectly in that range.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be picking this up. This is, wow. Yeah, you playing a Civ strategy type game. Wasn't expecting that. Holy shit.
Well, we'll talk about one more nice thing before we go on to our main event. Obviously, we got way more than I expected because we jokingly said, man, it'd be really nice if like the Fable devs came out and just like gave us some proper full gameplay footage. And then not long after that, we get a 30-minute video.
A 30-minute video, which, yeah, well, we're going to talk about it.
And, like, I got to say, like, I know I've been, like, a little bit pessimistic because, again, it's a series that's been gone for a long time. Xbox has not been on, well, I mean, we'll obviously talk about how Xbox has not been on the best path as of recent. And we were also just wondering if that thing was even going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
And now it's pretty close to release, and as it looks like it's hitting everything I want it to. The only thing that's going to really make a big deal is if the story is good enough to kind of carry the actual like brunt of the work. Because I mean, what they're showing so far, as they gave us in the just messing around with the open world stuff, it's kind of exactly what I've been wanting from them to do.
Yeah, like. I can't lie. I was worried about this too. I try and stay as positive as possible for games I really want, throw that good energy out there. But like, come on, they've shown this at like so many different summer Game Fest style times where it's like, how have we got no other updates? It's being made by Playground, which, don't get me wrong, is an amazing developer, but they make Forza. Those are cars. They're great.
Well, apparently they should just keep using that engine for everything because my God.
Yeah. But yeah, like obviously I'm a little worried, like how is this open world car developer going to make a Fable? The series has been gone for a long time. It's been delayed a bunch of times. And then this comes out. And I'm not going to lie, every worry I've had has gone somewhere else in my mind for now. Because this
could still be a very bad game when it comes out. But like at the very least, I'm going into it going like, I at least trust that if I want to make it silly and fun for me, I can find a way to do it.
Oh, for sure. But like this looks beautiful and funny and like cool game mechanics with like the relationship stuff, and the music is nice. The buildings look exactly the way I want them to look, even like everything is hitting that like kind of a fairy tale look without going too far into a fairy tale that like the graphic style is just like too cartoony. But God, like you can do whatever you want. It almost looks like in this. You're buying buildings and deciding if you're going to live in it or charge rent and kick people out just on their ass or give them money, or like there's so many things happening.
I don't know the scope of this game yet, but like if I have ability to go to a seaside town, this motherfucker's ordering like is just having a hell of a beach house, you know?
Yes. Oh, 100%. Also the talking pig. Like we have to
again. It's the whimsy. Like I think that's what's also given me like a little bit of hope, is that they seem to understand what the whimsy of Fable has always been.
Yeah, it's hitting. This is what I wanted Hogwarts Legacy to feel like when I was playing it, like that level of whimsical. And they did a great job inside the castle, but as soon as you left the castle, the whimsicalness just like did not.
It is
hit.
the worry that I do have with Fable as well. It's like, okay, like they showed us 30 minutes of like this one area, but is it the same everywhere? And is that going to be enough to still keep you interested, or are you eventually going to have a point where it doesn't work anymore?
Mm-hmm. No, I can totally see that, but I don't know. Like this had me sold, and I'm surprised we got this, to be honest, just because Gears of War E-Day's coming out soon, Halo's coming out soon. Forza Horizon 6 just launched. Like, there's lots of other things that you'd think that Xbox's PR would probably be pushing harder, especially Playground. Like, they're still working on all the, like, they just released Forza, and there's all these, like, new releases and events and weekly and monthly things and all that kind of going on. The fact that they gave us this is amazing to me, because it
does give you a little bit of optimism, too, because if they're willing to throw 30 minutes out like that out of nowhere, they must have some level of confidence in this.
Yeah, and it's not like...
At least I hope that that's what that means.
Yeah, I also hope. Yeah, because it's not like it's just a trailer with all these edited scenes where it's like, oh, okay, you could have chose all these scenes. This is actual gameplay in a specific area and just like going through and doing the things. And God, I want this so bad. I cannot wait for this to come out now and hopefully live up to what this looks like.
Yeah, like I'm trying to temper my expectations still, because again, like we don't know how long this game will take to finish. We don't know how big the world is. We don't know, how deep does this system go? Like I know that they've said there's no AI voicing with all these NPCs or anything. Like it's all unique stuff. But I'm like, how much of this though is still the same voice lines? Like, at what point are you? Because you got to cut corners somewhere. So, like, at what point have they done that, and is it going to be enough to the point that, like, everything starts to get samey towards a certain juncture where you just don't feel as interested in messing with the town? Because, sure, you could spend so much of the game, like, as Kaylan calls his wife, Jenny Bezos there, and just buy everything, but, like, will you want to spend that amount of time to do that, or will it just be a case of, like, you'll do a little bit here and there just to get an income flow going, and then that'll be the end of it?
Yeah.
Like, will it truly be like, will you be enthusiastic enough to keep doing whatever you want to do? And will the life sim aspects of the Fable be enough to carry that? Or will it just be like a fun quirk in between you going through the story?
Yeah.
Because if it's just a fun quirk, like, it might still be fine, but if, like, the idea is that you can do whatever and wherever, and if that only has so much before it gets old, like, then that kind of takes away a good chunk of what this game is being advertised as. So my hope is that by showing as much as they have here, that it means that what this small town of Silverbrook has is completely different to what, say, like a mining town will do, or what a seaside town will do, or what a big castle city will do, in that there's going to be so many differentiations between them that they feel unique. My concern is that there's going to be like 25 Silverbrooks in this game. And that's where my concern comes into play. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It's definitely not an aspect of I'm now like not sure. Now I'm like, I'm hoping that any pessimism that is in the back of my mind is wrong, and that because everything I'm seeing about this game right now is making me really excited.
Yeah, like I am really excited. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like the look, the vibe of the game is hitting me exactly the way I want. And it's been a long time since a game would hit me the way this would, with that level of fantasy and stuff, right? Most of the games we get are very realistic, or at least like playing off of realism, whether it's like a Forza Horizon, whether it's even like God of War and stuff. It was like, how realistic can we get these graphics? Even though they're gods and all this other stuff, it's still very much like, all right, here's this mountain and here's this, and look how real it looks. Where this, it looks real, don't get me wrong, but it still looks not like when you show a tree or something in one of the scenes, it doesn't look like a tree just out of a normal, like, real world. There's something about the way they've even designed the trees in these scenes that they look more whimsical. They look like something out of a fairy tale versus something you would see in some war epic or something like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think like the big thing to me is like, this feels like, from watching the footage that we've gotten of it, especially with this 30-minute demo that they put on, it feels not necessarily like a game that I'm going to go, oh, this is going to be badass, or oh man, I'm so excited. This feels like a game that I'm sitting there watching, going, I can get lost in this, man.
Yeah,
which is a feeling that we don't get very often anymore.
No, like the few games I get lost in now are Balatro, Forza Horizon 6. Like, they're games that have very addicting gameplay, but it's not that I'm lost necessarily in the world as much as it is the gameplay loop and what I'm being kind of fed as more of a dopamine hit, or a like, damn, I got so close in Balatro and I got to try again, but I'm going to get it. This is more, I could see myself just wanting to walk around in this area and like sit down on a bench, like just live here almost, basically, but in game. Like,
yeah, that's the ultimate question with this game is this game a come mess around a little bit and then leave and then probably never come back here, or is this a thing where like you can just decide, you know what, I'm just going to spend a half hour here and just fuck around?
Yeah, I really hope for the latter. Like, I want very much to just go into that town and
like there's a genuine shot that this could be a game that, like, even if you finish, you can be like, you know what, I'm going to turn this game on once in a blue moon and just kind of mess around for a couple hours.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I can see myself doing that. Like, this would be one of those ones where I'm done the game, I don't uninstall it. I leave it there. It's on the Xbox or on my PC or wherever I'd play it, and I'm leaving it there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough nice things to say about an Xbox thing. All right.
It's time.
It's been 40 minutes. I've been locked and loaded for a while. It's time for a shoot. So, as far as we know, it's not fully clear yet, because it sounds like these studios are negotiating with Xbox to try to avoid either closure or at least allowing them to go independent. Mm-hmm. But the names that we've heard, the confirmed names that we know of for certain are Compulsion, which did South of Midnight,
Yep.
Ninja Theory, who have done the Hellplay games as of recent, and Double Fine. Arcane has also been brought up, but that one has been a little wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So it's not set in stone, but those three are the main ones. Compulsion is basically a done deal. It sounds like they're done. Ninja Theory seems like another one. Double Fine is the mysterious one. I think Double Fine, theoretically, even if they were going to be let go of Microsoft, could easily go independent.
Oh, yeah.
But people are still going to lose their jobs there no matter what, because now Tim Schafer and company would have to go to crowdfunding again in order to keep things going.
Yeah.
Ninja Theory and Compulsion, on the other hand, maybe there's a buyer somewhere, but I kind of doubt it, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see maybe Ninja Theory getting picked up somewhere, but it would.
Well, it depends
like
on what Tencent wants to do. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
What's Tencent want to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
That's it. There's a lot of conversations to have about it. It's one of the few times that I wrote notes. That's how bad it was. I I want to quickly note a couple of things before we go deep into my thoughts about it. So just to quickly say with Arcane, it better not be included because that Blade game better fucking come out. Otherwise, it is the most cursed franchise in all of entertainment right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because the film is also still a complete no one knows what's going on. But that one... Also, Arcane being shut down in general, like, I'm sure there'd be a... like. If they actually decided that Arcane was no more, I know that Sony's also been rumored to potentially be laying off, although people have been corroborating on the other side, being like, I don't know where this information's coming from. Like, this is not a thing.
That's true.
But I'd be sitting there be like, Sony, I know that this makes no sense for you in some ways, but for God's sake, keep Arcane. You would kill with, like, you want to talk about a new, a single-player IP that people would gravitate to? Dishonored's right there for you guys.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I think they could also go independent, but, like... I don't know if they'd be able to do the same extent of stuff that they've done with, say, like a Deathloop or whatnot.
Oh,
right?
100%. So, yeah, that would be the issue, because as soon as you go back independent, sure, it's you're your own thing now. You don't have to worry about if you're going to get laid off from a bigger company and all that. But can you financially do what you used to do? You don't have the deeper pockets, right? Yeah, this is weird to me. Not because... this isn't new. When the first, I'm not going to lie, the first thing I heard...
It's just chalk it to the list of Xbox layoffs at this point, right?
Yeah, like, first thing I thought was, here we go again. Like, immediately, not shocking. Xbox is known for having, like, an incredible showcase, basically winning Summer Game Fest, getting everybody hyped, and then immediately dropping the hammer right after and just, like, a bunch of layoffs. Pretty sure it happened last year, maybe even the year before. You'll have a great game come out that people love. You and I are talking about it on the podcast, like Hi-Fi Rush. And then, boom, they just are like, by the way, even though you've loved the most recent game we put out and you loved our showcase, by the way, we're getting rid of all the things you love. Like, it's this weird back and forth where we're on a yo-yo, you know what I mean, with Xbox. But one reason I find it weird is because unlike... Compulsion with South of Midnight. That game came out, like, I think last year, and they've had time to, like, sit on it and see how well it did. Hi-Fi Rush, it seemed a lot quicker. It seemed like only months after the game was released, and then they're like, it's not meeting our expectations. This is probably a studio we don't want to hold on to. Ninja Theory, while I understand probably the financials of it, at their showcase, one of the major things they showed was Senua. Like,
that was the other thing I was going to bring up. Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Like, so you're showcasing this game. Clearly, it's still going to be on the Xbox, even if they let Ninja Theory go. I'm assuming it's like you're going to finish this.
Well, I mean, if they close the studio, that game's dead. There's no shot.
Yeah, so it's like, are you just announcing a game that got some people hyped up in the Summer Game Fest, and then you're like, just kidding, that we're going to axe it literally 2 weeks after we just showed it to you?
It shows just how much of a fucking dumpster fire Microsoft as a whole is right now. Because, I mean, this goes beyond just Xbox, and I'll get into more about that after.
Oh, for sure.
But, like, there's no way that you didn't know that these conversations were happening, that you were considering the idea of Ninja Theory being closed. So knowing that, why did you put this game out to announce it?
Yeah.
If you knew there was a chance, there's no way that 2 weeks ago they didn't know that this conversation was coming up. There's no way. You don't literally the next day go, we're closing this studio. Actually, who am I kidding? Satya Nadella could do something stupid like this, but you would think that there would be an inkling that, you know what, maybe we shouldn't throw this one out just in case.
Yeah.
Instead, they announce it, and now basically 2 weeks later, we're finding out that the studio is essentially done. So that game's not happening. So the at least with a game like Contraband or whatever, like it slowly just vanishes, and we just don't hear anything about it, right? Or in the case of Perfect Dark, it gets announced, few years pass, it still isn't out. We see a trailer for it again, and then a few months later, the initiative's closed down. Fine. Like, we get it. It's just not going anywhere. Fine, no worries. They literally just announced this project.
Yeah, it's like they're getting closer and closer to, like, how close can we cancel a game from it being announced, and they've managed to get it up to, like, a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Look, Xbox, you don't have to be a Concord copycat.
Yeah, like, this is bad PR. Like, this is just bad you don't show a game and then 2 weeks after showing it at your big summer event where everybody's tuning in, go and then also cancel that and be like, hey, everyone, that thing we showed you 2 weeks ago, it's actually not happening.
I mean, it's also a thing, too, of like, you've had such a good string of PR events. It's almost like you were doing this. It now makes me suddenly just not believe what they've been saying the last couple of weeks, because it sounds like they were just putting all this stuff out to soften the blow that they knew was coming.
Yes, I think so, too.
Because, like, we were talking, like, the price decrease of Game Pass and stuff, and there was a sense of like, okay, maybe they are starting to understand what's going on. And maybe that these decisions, maybe in the long run, maybe it does make more sense for them. But like, I've said it before on the show, I don't have the capacity to give a flying fuck about the business end. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about a massive $1 billion+ corporation that I don't care how much quote unquote debt it's in. Accountants can make numbers work. They are literally paid to fudge numbers to make it look like they're actually profiting to the fullest extent. You can make that shit work. Not to mention, no offense to Microsoft, but Xbox is at least your fucking problems.
Oh, yeah.
If this is the reason that you guys need to, like, okay, I'm going to get my first shot out here. The gun's been sitting here loaded for a while. Satya Nadella, go to fucking hell. Don't give us this bullshit that Xbox needs to be sustainable after all this time. Shut the fuck up with this bullshit. You've been plotting around with AI that's been royally fucking over your entire business model. Oh, Xbox needs to be sustainable? Then fucking make the components that you would need to build your hardware fucking affordable.
Yeah, like...
Because the Xbox Series X or the Series S by this point should have been dropping in price, which would get more people buying it. The Helix that you've been apparently working on and probably not going to release for the next few years now could have been the next step up, but that thing's probably going to cost $2,000 at this rate, so no one's going to buy that. It's your own goddamn fault. Mm-hmm. You guys are now making people under you because that's always the case. You can't take a hit on yourself. Made $100 million reportedly with all the stock bonuses that he got last year, but no, can't take any cut to help some of that. Satoru Iwata, no problem doing that when the Wii U was fucked up, but no one else in the history of CEOs can ever consider that possibility.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, they're sitting there going, well, we need to make sure that this business is profitable in a business that they have intentionally handicapped themselves on.
Yep. Oh, yeah. They had a memo go out internally that I don't know if it unintentionally got out to the public or they also just released their stuff to the public, but it was basically them talking about like the new Xbox is going to be great and we're so excited for this rebranding of Xbox. The only thing is we're running into certain issues where the cost of components is the highest it's ever been, and it's looking a little bit bleak for like Project Helix and affordability and everything.
Gee, I
and
wonder
it's like,
who's the reason for that.
What the fuck? Microsoft, you are literally one of the people who did this.
They're the
You're
person in the
your
hot
own
dog
problem.
costume now. We're all going to figure out who this person was that did it.
Yeah. Like, you did this, and now you're just like, huh, it seems like our one business is not doing great because components are really high. Why is that? I don't understand. Anyways, use Copilot. Like, what the like, horrible.
Like, and also, to further the conversation, oh, well, this needs to be a sustainable business. What the fuck did you spend $69 billion for on Activision Blizzard, you fucking moron?
Yeah.
What did you spend $8 billion on Bethesda for?
Yeah.
What was the money spent for?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they didn't run the numbers properly. I figure like...
No, they ran the numbers because they knew the stock would go up by making these purchases.
Yeah. Yeah,
I said it in our Discord, and I apologize to Taribo and Musamis because I know that they're great guys and they have a different side of things, but like, I'm sorry, but I cannot believe a word out of the company's mouth ever on these things. Anytime they do anything, it is specifically to make the shareholders happy, is specifically to make the stock go up. That's all these companies do now. It's never been about sustainability. It's never been about anything but the stock price. And obviously, whatever profit margins come out at every quarter. That's another thing, too. We're almost at the end of June. That's a quarter. That's why this is happening. It's why it didn't happen in mid-May. It's why it's happening now, because it's about time for the numbers to go. The numbers aren't looking good. They got to do something. We all know. We've seen this enough now. You like, unless you live under a rock, you should know how this works now.
Yeah.
The shareholders need to be happy. They need to be coddled because goodness me, oh my God, all this money that I'm putting into something and it's not making 30% profit every single fucking time? Oh, well, that's not fair. To which I go, motherfucker, do you know how a business actually works? Do you know how that the idea is to make a profit, right? Right? Profit's important? Profit. That thing that we like? Profit. It doesn't have to be a fixed number, guys. Profit's still profit. I know that we all live in this age of endless growth, but like that's not you want to talk about sustainability, endless growth is not a sustainable fucking idea.
Yeah. Oh, no.
But like it's this thing with like how we joke about Square Enix all the time that every time a new game sells 8 million copies and they're like, well, that didn't hit our targets. What fucking targets do you guys have?
Yeah.
Like, are you expecting every game to make $2 trillion? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
It's the simple thing is they had a target they were looking for. They're not hitting it. So they're doing whatever they can to hit that target because A, it makes their bonus better, and B, it makes the shareholders invest more. That's all it is. They just want the stock to go up and they want their bonuses to go up. That's
100%.
it. This is not about anything else. Anybody can try to sit here and pretend, because look, the conversation or Discord also brought up, obviously these studios spent way too much money. Yes, that's another thing too. They got to rein these studios in more. If you're going to buy a studio, you got to be sitting there and going, you can't just spend the fucking money like it's fucking candy. You can't do that.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation over and over on the show. Games need to shrink. These $100+ million budget games need to fucking chill. Like we can't do this every time. It's not sustainable. You want to talk about sustainability? We can't have, like Jeff showed that graphic at the Summer Game Fest of how many Steam games launched this year already. I know not all of them are massive budget games, but like there's way more games of high budgets than have ever been before. They all can't compete for that same amount of dollar flow.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to lose.
Yeah, because back in the day, you'd have bigger games. You had like Final Fantasy X, for example. That at the time was a huge, big game. Big budget, big everything. But it came out like 2 years after Final Fantasy IX, I think. Like, and then you had Final Fantasy X-2 a couple years after that. Final Fantasy 12 a couple years after that. And the market was so much smaller. Like when Final Fantasy X came out, there was tens of games that came out within the months around the same time that it would be competing with. Maybe 50 games from that year that people would be able to, like, of all genres and talk about and be like, oh, here's all the PS2 games that released this year that we can name. Now you have thousands of games releasing every single day. And your games aren't coming out in 2 years, so they cost more money. We see them so infrequently that people don't recognize them immediately. Like, oh my God, there's the new Final Fantasy.
And they have to spend $50 million to put it to the front page.
Yeah, and
that's another thing too. Like, if you have to spend this much money to get people to even look at your game, why are you spending so much on the game itself? Mm-hmm. Like, don't you think it'd be smarter then to make, like, let's say a game is going to cost like $200 million, like in the crazy AAA world that we live in. And you're going to pay $50 million in marketing costs to try to push this game to the front of everyone's mind for the next like 6 months. Here's an idea. What if you minimum half that game's budget? Mm-hmm. You could still spend the same amount of marketing, but now it's $100 million you just saved.
Yeah.
Because if the game flops, you're really fucked, Concord.
Yeah.
But like, it's this case of they're spending so much money and time. That's another thing too. Games taking 7-8 years to make, like that's a problem too. But we've had this conversation before. Doesn't really belong here at this point, but it takes that long to make. You have to spend way more than you possibly should be on marketing to make sure that it gets as many eyes on it as possible. That doesn't guarantee anything either.
Yeah. Not at all.
So like, you want to talk about sustainability. This isn't sustainable. I know that maybe the studios have to close in this instance, but like this industry has to change in order for things like this to stop happening. And I don't think it's going to, because the people that run these corporations do not look at this in this manner. They just see the numbers on a spreadsheet, and that's the only thing that they're paying attention to. They're not asking the why. They can ask the why, But Phil Spencer or Sarah Bond or now Usha, like, they'll say whatever it is. I don't think Satya Nadella or any of these people are fucking listening to it. They're just going, I don't care, just make it work.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. They're seeing how much, okay, this is how much we've spent. We've got this Activision Blizzard. We've got this. We've got that. Okay, these are the games we put out. This is the profit we need. It should be, around this percentage. Okay, we haven't hit that. The only way to now make up for that and make it so that we are still in that same profit is now to get rid of the people who made those games. We don't need them anymore. And we can basically rebalance the sheets and boom, look at us. We're profitable again. The game didn't do as well, but we don't have to keep paying these salaries and all this other stuff.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, you don't get to justify all the money that you spent on buying studios. And look, some of these studios would not have existed longer without that money. I get that. But you don't get to justify that, oh, well, they can do whatever they want with this because it's saving the studios. And, it's not their fault that the studio isn't running correctly and not making the money they do. The fuck it is. If I spent $69 billion on a company, or in the case of even, I don't know what it cost them to put together Compulsion or whatever way they did it. But, like, if I spent X amount of money to acquire, actually, let me just quickly Google it. I doubt I'm going to be able to find this, but let's see. How much did Xbox pay to acquire Compulsion? So they might have just set the studio up on their own. I don't know if I'll find a story here. Yeah, it was never disclosed, so we won't know. But, like, just for the sake of it, because Compulsion's not really a big studio, let's just say it cost them, I don't know, like $50 million. Let's just say. I don't know if I'm undershooting or overshooting, but I'm just throwing a number out in the abyss. Whatever they paid for it. I don't care how much or how little it is. If you're going to spend money on acquiring something to help your company profit more, it is your responsibility to make sure somebody is employed that is overseeing that one, that understands how the business operates and understands how to effectively manage the budgets they have. And instead, Compulsion spent over $100 million reportedly making South of Midnight, a game that was never going to make that money back. We both love that game. There's no way that game is going to make $100 million back. No way.
No way.
And if the idea was Game Pass was supposed to pay for all that, well, clearly that didn't work.
No.
So why is it the studio has to take the brunt of it?
Yeah.
You, the publisher, the ones who bought these studios, didn't take the initiative to, I don't know, start small and see if this plan could bear fruit and then ratchet up? Because, like, from a business perspective, let's play the business game. You're starting up Game Pass and you're acquiring all of these studios to make sure you have a steady flow of games coming out on this. Don't you think that for a lot of these unknowns that you're bringing in, that you would start smaller with lower budget, quicker projects to see where they're at, and then if they get something really well, you can then ratchet it up for the next one for a bigger, much more expensive project that is going to have more likely to do something. Compulsion, let me just quickly check what they did before this. I think it was We Happy Few, if I'm not mistaken, was the last thing they made.
I think it was.
So yeah, they made Contrast in 2013, We Happy Few in 2018, and then South of Midnight in 2025. Can someone explain to me why the company that made a very indie game like in Contrast and then a relatively low budget sort of, I can't remember like what kind of game We Happy Few was other than just that creepy fucking trailer that
very
it
creepy
came out with.
But it's kind of like a AA game.
Yeah, like one that clearly wouldn't cost much. Let me see if there's any chance of a budget of We Happy Few. Let's see if there's any shot I can get a number here. So it started on a small budget. So they're saying somewhere like maybe an additional investments of somewhere around like $10 million. So
that checks out.
Explain to me then how a company that had only ever made 2 games in its life, one of which was a very indie game, and the second one which was a Kickstarter game that only made about just shy of $300,000 and then eventually over investment time got $10 million, but that was over time. Explain to me why you suddenly allowed this company to spend $100 million on a game.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Does that sound like smart business sense?
No, not even close. Because I like Contrast, an incredible game. I love that game. But it was very much like an indie game. The budget must have been very low, just in the millions, like less than 10 million. I have to assume.
Maybe not even that. I would imagine.
Not even
like
that.
If they only got kickstarted like 300 grand for We Happy Few, like you wonder if it even if Contrast budget was even $1 million, right?
True. And it probably made its money back, because to make $1 million over time as an indie game, if you're able to get the recognition that Contrast did, because like you and I both know it just even from its name, so obviously it was well known enough, it must have been profitable. Like, again, you had a lower budget and you're able to make, it's like all we got to do is make like $1 million. We have to sell 100,000 copies of this game, and then we're good. We break even, we make a bit of money, and then the profit starts coming in. They go to We Happy Few. It's that next step. They go from, say, a $1 million budget to maybe 10 million, like you're saying. It maybe got up to that. That is an increase of 10 times, but it's still in a very reasonable area where, okay, this is a bigger game. It might make, $10 million. We should at least hopefully break even, blah, blah, blah. But it seems like all of a sudden they jumped by 10 again and goes up to 100 million. And it's like,
with a game that you have to know on paper is not going to be a massive seller. Like, look, we can play the culture war game, but let's be real. A lot of people were not going to buy a game that was about a black woman in the bayou. That was very artsy looking.
Yeah, 100%. It's still a factor. Agreed. It was on Game Pass, so I guess they were hoping that month's subscriptions would pay for it. Maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it might have, but how much did you pay for all the other things that you've put on that platform? Like, again,
Exactly.
that's the part of that business model. Like, look, I'm sure there's a way the Game Pass could make sense, but, like, you can't really do that when you have games like South of Midnight and Senua's Saga, taking so much money. Because that's the other thing with Ninja Theory, if we move on to them too, I get why they also were kind of where they are now, because no one was going to, like, you're not going to have this many people playing what's essentially like a short cinematic experience that is Hellblade.
Yeah.
And it's not, there's no reason that either of those two games, because I'm just going to quickly check Hellblade, see what the budget was for that.
I think the first one was actually pretty reasonable, if I remember.
Oh, the first one
correctly.
was definitely reasonable.
Yeah, and it did, I think it was popular enough on platforms that it was actually profitable, I think.
Yeah, there's no public disclosure, but like, again, South of Midnight was reported to cost over 100 million. The original Hellblade was a micro budget of under 10.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, because Hellblade 2 was not an under $10 million game.
No, that game cost them a shit ton. Like, I would not be stunned if that game also cost more than $100 million to make.
Yeah, and the reason Hellblade 1 was so successful is because it actually felt like a game that was probably, 10 million or less to make. It had that AA quality to it, but it was good enough with its art style and its themes and its cool use of audio that enough people would buy it that it would break that $10 million barrier. That makes sense. That's where it was meant to be. Hellblade 2, if it costs 100 or 150 million, you're not going to get the people who loved Hellblade 1 to multiply by 15 and become that many people that are like, oh my God, have you seen Hellblade 2? Because the first game is also just better, even though it's so much cheaper, in my opinion. It is the better game, even though it isn't as graphically outstanding, right? Like, it's almost like they all just decided to, first of all, Microsoft should have been the one running this, but these are where these companies were, their wheelhouses, the We Happy Few, the Contrast, the Hellblade 1, keeping in that area, making more of that. That's their strength. They won't be your big $200 million, profit games, but they'll still be profitable and not be in the red because they're just costing $10 million to run, and they're coming out with games every so often, like a Hellblade 1 at that level. And those games would be on Game Pass constantly, right? You'd have Contrast too.
It's like I said, if someone was just overseeing them and making sure, like, if you just let people go and do whatever they want, like, yeah, they are just going to go for something too big because they want to make the most perfect thing to them, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we had a blank check, you think we'd fucking go small?
No.
No.
No, this podcast would be filmed on top of a plane in the
No,
sky.
we're making like our homage to Chrono Trigger. We're going full on as anime, perfect graphics as we possibly can. Like that bitch is going to cost us like $1 billion. And it's going to sell like 2 copies.
Yeah.
Because we're the only ones that are going to buy it.
We're going to buy our own creation. But yes,
like,
that's true.
But like, when you have these guys, because look, I'm sure that there were conversations between whoever is the executive there at Ninja Theory and Compulsion, and they're having the conversations of like, well, here's what our plan was. I can't imagine that they went in and said, oh yeah, we're gonna make this game called South at Midnight. We're gonna do this vibe where it's gonna be like very much like that, like claymation, sort of like what Coraline was, like that graphic design. It's gonna be set in like, you know, in the bayou in New Orleans. It's gonna have this like very black Southern kind of vibe to it. Oh, and also we think this is $100 million+ game that's going to cost us to make, and we're going to like, it's going to be the biggest thing. Like, there's like, you have to sit there as an executive at Microsoft to go, all right, slow down a little bit here. I don't think that there's any shot. But again, when you probably have people there at the top at Microsoft that don't know the industry, this is what happens.
Oh, 100%.
And at the end of this, it all comes down to, this is what happens when the biggest companies are trying to get into they're trying to make their business in a art-based entertainment venue like it's a graph. Like they just assume that, oh, if you just make this with this budget, it'll work. No, that's not how this works. Yeah. You know, and games like Clair Obscur have kind of proven that. Mm-hmm. You don't need this massive budget to make it work. Balatro, I mean, God, if we really want to go far enough back, like Balatro can prove that. Lethal Company. Minecraft when it first came out. Mm-hmm. You know, like, there's enough proof out there, and we keep screaming this at the top of our lungs. You do not need to have a triple-digit million budget to make a game successful in AAA. I know it's crazy, but, like, the thing that gets me, this whole thing, because some people try to turn this back, oh, it's the gamer's fault because we expect everything to be big. Motherfucker. The rest of, like, we got 4 years left in this decade. I guarantee you that if every major company in the AAA market goes up at every single showcase, conference, whatever stream that they do, and say, we're looking to make a change in this industry, we think the future is these much shorter experiences where you guys can get in, it's not going to tax you forever, and you can get your money's worth out of it then and move on to the next thing because there's so much out there. If you keep hammering that home, and if you keep making good games that follow that trend, people will stop expecting the fucking massive 80-hour Grand... Like, they're all waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. Mm-hmm. And once they finish that, they're going to expect every game to be like that because that's what every game is striving to be still.
Yeah.
If GTA 6 is a once-in-a-generation game, and the average game is like, say what Mafia of the Old Country is, where it's like 10 hours, doesn't take too much of your time, still looks great, but isn't pushing like everything out. The industry and the fan base will change to accommodate that change. Because I don't know if people understand this, but we see it with how regular society works. We're all very sheepish. Mm-hmm. We are very easy to change the mind of. If enough companies push that same narrative, we will eventually move towards it.
Oh,
that's
100%.
what we did with live service for a while until they burned that bridge.
Yeah.
The difference is here is I think shorter games with lower budgets that hit niches better, that have much more of a purpose to them, that have some more soul into it because they're not just designing it because they have to put every microtransaction they need to into it. They have to put every checkbox possible into this because it's $100+ million and they need to get to as many people as possible. If they consistently run this, they will improve things because if they fuck up and something flops, the loss won't be as big, but the ones that hit will make so much more money and counter that.
Yeah, because they'll
Yeah. If a game if you have two games that cost, let's say, $50 million to make, one of them sells like 800,000 copies and another sells 4 million copies, they're going to cancel each other out, or the 4 million copies might actually still put you in the profit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But instead, they throw up 100 plus at it. It sells. Actually, let me even just check South of Midnight. How many copies did South of Midnight? How many copies sold? I think it was under 1 million. So, okay, so it did surpass 1 million play, but that's not counting Game Pass. This is where it gets weird. So, industry and third-party estimates say it's sold roughly around 500,000. So, without Game Pass, like, maybe it gets close to 1 million, but I doubt it gets to 1 million still. You can't have games being made with that level of a budget that can barely, like, is going to struggle, and you know it's going to struggle to make 1 million. Yeah. Come on. Like, we both love that game. If we had found out that game sold 4 million copies, we would have been stunned.
Yes, stunned. Right? Absolutely.
It's not a game that seems like it would sell that much.
No. It's great, but still niche. Like, yeah.
At the end of the day, it's your job. At the top, Satya Nadella. If you want to go to Phil Spencer and those folks, and obviously now with Usha. So this is like Usha in the future. This is where you should be paying attention to. If you're going to make this business profitable, the first thing you do is make sure the companies that you own are not overspending the fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm sorry, we all, as soon as we saw that all these studios were closing, and we started seeing reports like, oh, well, South of Midnight cost $100 million, and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, like, it probably cost similarly, it was way too big for what it was. We're all sitting there going like, yeah, these games were never going to sell that well.
No.
Like, I wish that every Atlas RPG and every Trails RPG sold 20 million copies. I fucking wish they did. They deserve it. But I know that that's not a thing.
No, of course not.
They're not Call of Duty. They're not FIFA.
Yeah.
They're not even Forza. Like there are certain games that I recognize are not for everybody.
Yeah, completely. And even then, even the games that are for everybody, like I just quickly looked it up. I remember, because this isn't just a Microsoft or an Xbox problem. No. This is Sony has obviously let go of studios. They're struggling with many different things. But I remember one article that would have been about Spider-Man 2. Because remember, it was like, it has sold this many millions of copies, but it still has not broken even yet. And Sony obviously is worried about Spider-Man 2 not being profitable enough. And it's like, what? Didn't you just say it sold like 10 million copies or something?
And
ridiculous?
That's the thing, like even going back to the Square Enix joke we keep making, it's like, you have to sit back and go, okay, how many copies do we need to sell? And if it starts with double digit in the millions, then you have to go, oh shit, we fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
How many games sell more than 10 million copies?
Not many.
It's not a normal thing still.
No,
I know that the industry has grown. I know there's way more gamers than there ever used to be. 10 million is still a very hard number to hit.
Oh, very hard. Like it's when you think of how many games release, AAA and everything. Like I'm not even just talking like, oh yeah, indie. Like AAA, like they don't hit these crazy numbers. They just don't. And if you have something like Spider-Man 2, which costs $315 million to make, you might not make much of a profit on that. You're going to be it's going to take forever to break even.
Like I'm on the Wikipedia page for the best-selling games. The top 50 bottom out at 25 million.
Yeah.
So like top 50
of
is 25 million copies.
Yeah.
So like it's not that far out of the realm of possibility to say that 10 million is still a rarity.
Very rare. Oh, 100%. Anytime a game gets, like, there's this hide and seek game on Steam right now that's like Prop Hunt, but you paint yourself to match the walls or something. I don't know.
Like Google searching their AI overview is saying like they're estimating around 130 games have hit that number. That's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
Like if we're generous, let's say it could be make somewhere around the 200 range. That's still not a lot.
Yeah.
In this age, like we see close to 100 major releases a year in terms of like notable games. Like it's not a sustainable business if you think that you're going to get that high. Like you should be planning for most of your games that 1 million is your break-even point. That should be what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like maybe depending on how big your game is, like maybe the 5 million is like your number. Like maybe that's where like the real but as soon as you need double digits in the millions to break even, you better be damn sure that game's going to sell.
Yeah.
Like GTA can do whatever they want. Like GTA is going to it's impossible for them to fail at this point.
Yeah.
But like for almost any other game, unless it's like one of very few properties, again, I still think like EA Sports' games, like they make money in spite of themselves, although I'm sure their budgets aren't that high to begin with because they don't really put any work into them.
No, not at all.
But like a new Call of Duty game, for example, like they can do whatever they want with those because it's still going to sell because they're always going to be the highest. They're going to be the number one charting game for any time it's released still. It's just in spite of itself. But like the average AAA game, I don't care what your license is, even if it's Uncharted, don't assume you're getting 10.
Yeah, no. In fact, I pulled up a really good one because it's a well-known franchise, all that stuff. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I quickly pulled it up to look at the numbers. 6 months after it released, because it released like a little over a year ago, but last November, it had been reported to sell exactly 4.3 million copies. Mm-hmm. And that was after it's been out for 6 months. And it's been out another 6 months.
Like, that's when you're getting your full price money. It's gone after that.
Yeah, it's gone.
So like you could still get to 10 million copies down the road, but that's going to be 10 million copies at 40, 30, 20 bucks.
Yeah. And it's been another 6 months, and I imagine they still haven't hit the 10 million mark. And it may over time, but again, like you're saying, that's when it's getting that 80% sale on Steam. Because
when they're saying they need to sell 10 million copies, like that's not 10 million copies of any price.
No.
That's 10 million copies at full.
Yeah. So I have to assume.
So if your expectation is 10 million, realistically, you're looking at 20 because in terms of the price gaps by the end of it.
Yeah. It's not sustainable at all. Like, if an Assassin's Creed game, which people were kind of excited for because it was finally in Japan and looked a little bit different, like, what are these other companies expecting? Like, I have to imagine that Assassin's Creed Shadows, if it broke even, sure, it's probably made some profits somewhere, I imagine, but damn, like, this is not a sustainable model, even for these big hitters in the AAA industry. It's just not.
And I mean, it's no surprise why it's not helping too, because most gamers recognize it because they know that these games are taking forever to make. So they know that whatever they're getting for a lot of these games is going to be half-assed because they've probably changed ideas 3 or 4 times over the course of this launch. It's probably still a buggy mess because, again, they've been messing around with stuff all the time and changes keep getting made. It's probably got a bunch of bullshit in it now because they've got to salvage some of the costs that they've done. And, like, the Indian AA market just keeps coming out with more stuff that just make us go, what are we buying your stuff for? Like, I haven't bought a game at full price in I don't know how long, man.
I've bought a few, but it's very specific. Very specific.
Yeah, like, it's not. Like, it used to be a normal thing that I would get games on day one all the time. It's not a thing I do anymore.
Oh, gosh, no. No, absolutely not. It's not needed. And it's like the industry is showing where it's like, certain games I trust, certain ones I don't. I genuinely don't.
And that list is getting smaller and smaller if we're talking about AAA, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But like the biggest thing that I just really, really need to say is I know that there's legit reasons, probably. I still don't believe most of them because I feel like every time that a company tries to tell us a reason for something, I go, no, it's stock. It's stock stuff. It's all it is. But like, I'm so sick and tired of everything that I love getting shafted consistently because the numbers on a spreadsheet don't look good. Mm-hmm. This is art. I know that not every game is the same level of art as others, but I am so sick and tired of these tech billionaires, of these soulless fucking assholes taking things that we love, corporatizing it, and then acting surprised when their methods do not translate. How many fucking times is this going to happen? And look, I know it's a reality of this industry. People are like, studios will eventually have to shut down. Independent studios shut down all the time. We just don't hear about them.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs are eventually going to get lost. The economy does its thing too. Like, this isn't just a video game industry thing. But this is a self-inflicted wound when we're talking about tech companies. This AI thing is not working. They're all losing money no matter what they think they're doing. Like, the stock price can do whatever it's going to do, but this is all going to crash eventually. I'm so tired of numbers trumping lives, of numbers trumping art, of numbers trumping joy. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it really is.
And if they want to act surprised that there's a backlash, you look at what's going on with all the protests, whether it's related, it's not related to this industry, but it's related definitely to this economy because it's all the same shit now. I don't know how to explain to people that do not want to listen that this cannot last. Because eventually someone's going to crack, whether it's an individual or whether it's a collective. And if it's the collective, the French Revolution seemed to have a lot of stories of how things look when that gets to that point. Because I know we all sit there and be like, oh, maybe the game industry will crash. The AAA industry might crash. The industry's not going to crash. There's always going to be games out. Look at how many games are launched on Steam every day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll be fine. The matter is where all the money goes, how quickly will that crash?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't crash for a long time, how long does it take until eventually there's enough backlash that it becomes more than just people voting with their wallet? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that there's going to be a riot outside of Microsoft, Xbox Studios or anything. I'm just saying that we just keep going down the path where something else is going to happen. And I said this in the Discord earlier today before we recorded. It's like, look, I don't want this to happen, but like I'm trying to say all this shit out in the open so that we avoid something serious down the line. I don't want it to get to the way that I think it's going to get to eventually. Mm-hmm. But I can only yell this so many times before I realize, well, they're not going to listen, so I guess they're just going to wait until either their entire industry collapses. They'll still be fine. They've got so much money. They'll be fine on their fucking island. But can they make it to their island before the crowd comes down and beats the shit out of them for real? I'm not wishing violence, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. Whether that's people in this industry or outside of it. When we keep playing this game of endless growth, where they think that if they just put X amount of money into it, they're going to get 30% back, it's going to eventually come back to get you eventually. Some of these people might not live. They might live a full life before it gets to the point that it might eventually get to at this rate. But, they keep going down this path. I don't know where this goes. My money is already basically not being spent for a lot of the stuff in this industry. I mean, if Xbox came out with a console next year, there's no shot I'm buying it out of principle right now. Also because I can't fucking afford it.
No, at the price they'd release it at too. Jeez.
But I don't know how many times we can, because I didn't want to have this conversation again, but it's another case where I have to keep saying this message until it finally clicks. And I'm glad that a lot of other people in the podcast game and the gaming journalism game that are way above us are saying the same stuff. I genuinely appreciate that Greg Miller pitched a fucking fit earlier today when they did their show.
Yeah.
I've seen that guy a lot. I don't keep up with Kind of Funny. It's the first time in a while I've actually heard him speak in a while. I'm not used to seeing him that fired up.
Oh,
that tells me how serious things are getting. Like that, even the journalists are like, dude, there's no point in me pretending.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't want to do this anymore. But I'm gonna do if the thing about Sony closing more studios is actually true, this is gonna come up again. I'm gonna have to say something. I can't not.
Yeah, no.
I can't just go, oh, they closed Insomniac down. Oh, damn.
Yeah, God, I'm worried. Even just Sony is totally.
And then somehow BioWare's still alive. You know what? EA are actually the best guys all of a sudden.
Yeah, true. That's true. Wait a minute.
It's been a hot minute.
Have they been the heroes the whole time?
EA used to be the notable ones for always shutting shit down, and all of a sudden this is we're just in the background. Don't worry about us. We're just doing our thing.
Quick, release FIFA.
But yeah, no, I'm tired of doing this kind of a show, but
yeah.
they're not stopping.
No.
And like I said, it's pissing me off more because we were just talking so much like good stuff about Xbox, and immediately it goes away.
Yeah.
We joked like when is the shoe gonna drop again?
Yeah.
I didn't think it'd be this fast, man. I thought like we were like looking to next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought they'd at least be smart to go, wow, we got some good press going on right now. Maybe we should just like hold that for like the rest of this year. And they went, no, this will just, if we say a bunch of nice things, this will probably soften the blow. And it's like, guys, laying off thousands of people, like we don't know how many people are laid off yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Like obviously that's going to come out over time, but like laying off thousands of people because you dumbasses couldn't get your shit together, we're always going to get pissed about that. Because I care about lives way more than I care about your bottom fucking line.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're fine.
Oh yeah, they're fine.
Companies like I looked it up recently, and like the estimated debt of Microsoft is $120 billion. That's fucking like that's monopoly money. It's made up.
Yeah.
Because if we actually gave a shit about debt in this country, all these companies would have folded like decades ago.
Oh yeah.
But it's all fake shit.
Yeah.
It's all just it's people making shit up so that they can keep us under the boot. That's all it is. Microsoft will never not be fine. There's always going to be some asshole that's going to come in, put a bunch of money into it, and they'll be fine. They can carry on to the next day. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or at some point, Apple and Microsoft will merge, and then it'll just finally be, the end of all times.
Yeah. Yeah. Oy, oy, oy.
That's the next thing. Is like, okay, what's the next big thing they're going to do? Like, because they're all like, well, we got to make this business sustainable. I almost guarantee you that in the next 6 months they're going to buy something major.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I was going to say. Their excuse will be get rid of these developers that are just making high budget but low.
Like what? What do you think they're eyeing, Chris? Are they eyeing Capcom? What's going on?
No, I don't think
that's a Japanese company. There's no shot.
Yeah,
are they eyeing CD Projekt Red or something?
No, God, I hope not. God, that would just ruin it for me. What would they go after? I don't even know. They could try Larian Studios. I don't think that would fly.
I mean, they are a PC company.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm picturing all these other.
I'm just thinking, like, what's the biggest things that I can come up with, and then Larian and CD Projekt Red would be like 2, right?
Yeah, yeah. Who made Mafia?
Oh my God. Well, isn't that like a 2K thing, or is that out of that now?
Yeah, it used to be.
Let me check. Mafia, the old.
Okay, there you go. 2K or whoever makes.
Yeah, it's published by 2K. Hangar 13 is the
Hangar
developer.
13. Yeah, so maybe Hangar 13.
But I mean, they put EA Play and Ubisoft Plus on the Game Pass. Like, what if they just say, fuck it, Ubisoft is not going to cost as much these days, given how fucked they are?
Yeah, I could see them going after Ubisoft, actually. That's the one. That's the one right there, actually. That's what I put my money on, because it's big.
All right, Microsoft. I'll accept that if Beyond Good and Evil 2 actually comes, or is it 2? I always forget.
Yeah, it's.
Is there ever a second one? Yeah. If Beyond Good and Evil 2 comes out, all right, fine. You can have this one.
Oh, there'll be a sequel to Skull and Bones. That's what.
Yeah, it'll cost $2 billion. And then they'll have to shut down the studio and be like, we didn't foresee this not making as much money as it did. And it's like, yeah, sure thing, guys. Like, look, you can spend all the money you want, but if you don't have to fucking use it, like, Microsoft is acting like the fucking people that win the lottery and just lose all that money in 3 years.
Yeah, and then they're like, what? How did that?
Because, like, I'm sorry, if you spend $69 billion fucking dollars on a company and a few years later you're having to take a bunch of studios out and cut them, it's like, I feel like there's a problem that you guys just didn't think about addressing.
Yeah, I think that they don't have it figured out. I'm not going to lie.
So, like, look, at the end of the day, I don't like people losing their job.
No, not
That's families, that's livelihoods that are affected here. I know most of those people are probably making way more than I do. So that still sucks. That's still income you're not making anymore.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm sure there might have been legitimate reasons. I just don't believe them. I don't have any trust for these companies anymore, man.
Yeah.
They haven't until they earn it. Not a shot.
Yeah. I think this.
And it's a self-inflicted wound. If they hadn't invested so much in AI, this probably isn't a thing. But it's their fault. And guys like Satya Nadella, they don't want to die on their own. They don't want to actually like admit fault. So it goes to something else.
Yeah. 100%.
Because Lord knows, after making $100 million last year, it's still not enough.
Yeah. I think it's different if we heard Sandfall, who made Expedition, if after a bit, all of a sudden they're like, listen,
can you imagine if that studio closed down?
Yeah, or if they just had to lay off some people, they're going to stay open, but they're going to lay off some people. I don't think anybody would attack them. You know what I mean? Like, depending on the reasons and everything. They don't need to right now because of the success of Expedition. But let's just say things don't keep up and they start having to lay off a few people off. At least people would believe them for the reason they're giving.
Well, we understand that, like, there's going to be some layoffs because a lot of these people are contract.
Yeah.
But B, when a game's done, unless you're immediately working on the next thing, like, you can't just pay people to do nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I get that. Like, I understand how freelance work and shit, like, makes sense, right? Like, it can't. Not everybody can be on salary for a company that's just sitting there in pre-production and not actually producing anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. But, like, the fact that so many studios have closed in these last, like, 2 years, really. But, like, since after COVID, the amount of things that have been shut down, it's like, it's unacceptable. I can understand 1. I can understand 2. But we're at like 10.
Yeah. It's
like this isn't acceptable.
Yeah.
At some point, the people at the top have to sit there and go, we have to change something.
Yeah.
Instead of, okay, cut a bunch of people so that way our numbers look good temporarily. Now, I'll say this once. If this is the last one and the industry corrects itself,
oh, yeah.
cool.
Happy.
But that ain't going to be what happens. I guarantee you in 6 more months, something else happens.
Yeah.
Wait until September when the next quarter comes up. What happens then?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be September. Yeah.
It's always quarters, guys. I keep telling this. It's always quarter stuff. Every 3 months, see what happens just before the end of that month. And you'll know. These companies do not care about anything other than what those numbers say. So stop defending them and just start going, fuck, why can't they get their shit together? Why can't we just avoid this stuff?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah.
Angry Adam was back. Yay.
That was almost an hour of that, too.
That was. It was worth it.
It's all right. You need to get one of those out once in a while. It's okay. I'll be back here in 2 weeks when Sony takes out 2 studios themselves too, and I'll be ready to do it all over again. I love getting angry. I love getting angry at corporations. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it is fun.
I mean, outside of actually playing video games, but God forbid I can't enjoy that these days. But anyways, that's gonna do it for us. Side quest this week. We're not doing our games and stuff. We're doing a different conversation. This would have happened anyway had Kaylan been here or not. But it's really funny that he wasn't even here for that. We could have just done it on the show had there not been a story. But we're gonna talk about JRPGs, turn-based JRPGs in general, because obviously Final Fantasy Resonance is a big thing that us old JRPG lovers are like, turn-based Final Fantasy. Never thought I'd see the day. And IGN recently put out an article talking how the devs from that game said, there's a resurgence of turn-based JRPGs. And we spent about 25 minutes talking about how that's not a thing. It's always been around.
Yeah, we did.
But enjoy that conversation. I haven't announced this on the show before, but I did put this in our Discord, which, by the way, link tr.ee/PixelPlay podcast, the link to our Discord. The PixelPlay M's are on hiatus. The reason for that is Saturdays is basically like the one day a week that like I have a full day with my significant other because her work schedule is weird. And Sundays, I'm basically playing softball all summer. So like I don't have a weekend anymore. So I made the call of like, you know what? I'm going to let this be time that I can spend with friends and my significant other and give that away and not do that here. There's a shot that sometime in the future streams will come back, whether it's in the same format or maybe I'll just do something in the evenings. Like I know there was the one time where I did a Friday night stream instead. It was like PixelPlay late night. Maybe I just do something like that. Maybe it's a Monday night or maybe it's a Friday night kind of thing. I haven't figured out how that's going to be yet. I got to kind of figure out like what consistently works because at the end of the day, if I can't make that all the time, because that was the thing. The Saturday morning thing I was kind of dodging every once in a while because something would come up. I got to figure out a day where that's not going to happen. So I got to make sure that if I'm going to do something for you guys, that I can actually consistently stay on it. So it might be a little while before things kind of get back in motion, but I'm not doing this to be like it's never happening again. It's just wait and see. We'll get back to that now, but wanted to let y'all know if you had not been in the Discord to see that news, because I know not everybody in the Discord watches this podcast. I know everybody that's in the Discord even watches every episode, so you never know. But yeah, so that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for checking us out. You guys know the drill. YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're listening on any audio platform, if you can give us a rating, please do so. Otherwise, share with all your nerdy friends there that wants to hear, some dumbass Canadian talk for 15 minutes about how corporations suck, because that's my jam, man. I'm perfect for that.
That is your jam. That's you.
But anyways, guys, thank you so much, and take care. Bye-bye for now.